I bet my God can beat up your God. Let's do this. Religion has made a lot of mistakes over the years, but right now let's just focus on dogma. You know religion's biggest mistake? They made God too damn powerful. Precious little makes God seem more fake than the attempt by his followers to give him a bigger dick. See, the problem is that the Bible doesn't make any sense at all if God is all-knowing, all-loving, and all-powerful. So much crap happens in here that God should have seen coming and taken care of, only he doesn't. From Adam and Eve getting punted out of paradise to Noah's flood, God drops the ball a lot. He actually had to reboot the earth after the flood. You'd think an all-knowing, all-powerful God could have gotten that one right the first time. And let's talk forgiveness for a minute. We're talking about a God that's supposed to be infinite in all things, yet somehow the Egyptians worshipping other gods gets right by him. Of course, God doesn't bother to show up and correct his little error, nor does his love extend to people that he's somehow managed to completely elude. Don't you think an all-loving God would realize that his hiding from people might be just a bit on the mischievous side, and that he might as well cut them some slack for going a different way on him? And while we're on the subject, let's talk Jesus next. Don't you think an all-loving, all-knowing, all-powerful God could have found a better way to redeem the people of Earth than to send a kid who was basically his avatar on the physical plane, then have himself tortured to death in a BDSM experiment gone horribly wrong? He knows everything and can do anything, and this is the best he can come up with? Really? I'm sorry, but I just don't buy it. If anything makes me think that religion is just made up, these contradictions are the most compelling. God is that powerful and has that much knowledge and is supposed to be all-loving, and yet he fucks up left and right. If it turned out that this God creature really is real, you know what would make a lot more sense to me? If it turned out he was some sort of interdimensional being that fed on belief, that fed on faith. And then he plants stories of his existence in the human consciousness and tells us that if we don't believe, we're going to a really, really horrible place after we die. There's no proof involved, that's just what we're told. I don't believe any of that for a second either. As far as I'm concerned, everything in every holy tradition is just complete and utter fiction. But given the evidence we're given, that makes a lot more sense than the story we're told by the religious people. It certainly makes much more sense given the evidence of what's in these idiotic holy books. I mean, come on, an all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful God? That's contradicted right here in the holy text. And it seems to me that the uber-sizing of God's traits are most likely from primitive tribesmen who wanted to make their God's dick seem bigger than the God from the next tribe over. And the running on automatic idiots bought it. Don't you run on automatic. Instead, please, think. Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. You might also enjoy my webcomic, The Adventures of Kinneara Baxter. You'll find a link in the info bar, along with a link to my Zazzle store. Buy a t-shirt today. Vote me down and I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.